The answer is yes, because the cars that they have been sold by the manufacturer in the area. So please, what I would like to show you, ma'am, is the picture of the service
I don't
area
want the
that
picture.
we're discussing.
I've seen the picture.
Okay,
I'm
but
just asking.
it's very important to understand what are we
I
planning.
understand what it looks like. I've been to these showrooms. I've been to service stations. That's not my issue. I don't want to pass legislation that is setting you up for failure. And how are we going to monitor? So if someone in Miami Shores owns a Volvo right now, and they come to your service station, you're going to turn them away.
No, absolutely no. We're gonna
Well,
serve
that's
it.
not what this ordinance says.
No, we're gonna serve it because it's a customer of the Volvo brand and the Volvo manufacturer in Miami.
But that's not what our ordinance says.
Okay.
So we've got a conflict there. So I'm not trying to completely uproot this, but we have a conflict. Well, partially. But I don't want to pass an ordinance because you can't comply with this. And you already are going to be in violation just because this says that your vehicles are, the only service is going to be for vehicles sold by your showroom.
Yes, sold by my showroom on the.
By the showroom. And again, this is not just for Volvo, this is for all other vehicle dealerships that are going to go on Biscayne Boulevard.
Madam Councilman, there's something very important that I would like to address in terms of the service area that we are speaking about. We said that we are keeping 441. So in 441 we have 10 service bays, okay? In this case, are we gonna serve cars coming from the Volvo manufacturer that they are sold in the area? We're gonna be more than happy to address this matter and to serve those customers. Which is the traffic daily that we are receiving in that service area today? 12 customers a day. So the impact that we are having in terms of traffic, in terms of volumes, they're seriously minimum. I understand that you are trying to address from a legal point of view that what you are writing there is going to be applied. What we are offering today is let me say, a high-end service facility in walls, inside of the building.
But
You're
this
going to
ord-
be
but
in
this
line
ordinance
with
doesn't
what's
work.
happening in New York,
But you're
in
gonna
the
s-
metro
but you're gonna
areas.
s- If someone bought their Volvo in New York and they drove it down to Surfside and they lived there, they come to get it serviced, you're going to service them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're going to
but
serve.
that's not what the ordinance says. We have a faulty ordinance.
Can
I'm
we
sorry.
change? Can we change that word then from autos sold by the showroom to autos sold by this dealer?
Yeah, but what I think that the confusion could be because we passed through a buy-sell process with Warren Henry. So we purchased the brand. So what we have is an address. We own a park lot. We own. It's a way of saying we serve a car park that is coming from the history of Warren Henry. It's today what we are working with in 441. So what we should say is that yes, we are going to serve the customers of the car park today attached with the zone that we are currently serving. The manufacturers.
I'm
yes?
sorry, can I just, are you saying that it's going to be serviced in this proposed?
We cannot define
business?
this. Why? Because we are keeping 441. So the customer is going to choose if they're going to come to North Miami or they're going to go for 441, okay? But the manufacturer required us that if a customer that is willing to do service in Volvo of North Miami located in Biscayne Boulevard, we need to serve that customer. Bear in mind that 60% of our sales, they're based on the service. So the customers that they came to service, they're normally our new customers. So this is the normal process in the automotive business.
Okay, under this proposed ordinance, you would not be able to, you will not be allowed to service vehicles at this North Miami location that are not purchased from this North Miami location.
Which is expanding your use for a further service station. More service stations in the neighborhood.
Councilwoman, I'm trying not to be
Hold on a second.
argumentative. Okay, I'll shut up.
Hold on a second, because we have one more councilman who has that.
I'm not done.
We've been beating this
I don't care,
to death.
I'm not done. This is in
But-
my
but we
neighborhood.
need to
But
get
it's in my
going.
district, so if we're gonna play that card, Councilwoman,
we need to
then
get going.
let's get down to it.
Yes.
Either you're for it or you're against
Yes.
it. If you're
No,
against it, I
have-
get that.
No,
but-
I know you all are gonna vote for this, but we need safeguards. There's false promises out there. I've got a group of people out there that are not for it. I know there were other people who were here who did not wanna wait, and I'm speaking for those people. And this is right outside, this place is 3 blocks from my house, where people go, and a lot of false promises, and I haven't finished addressing it. Everybody else got to speak, so I will speak. Please. So we'll go on to a different subject. Forget your servicing.
No. Let's talk about servicing. We're gonna be here till 1 a.m.
Okay.
and we're gonna either pass this or we're gonna fail this. So please, Mr. Burns, address the topic of servicing cars that are not sold by this showroom.
Let's look at this with common sense. If you just bought a $65,000 car and you live in Orlando and you come to Miami to visit the MoCA Museum and your windshield wiper isn't going to work, it fell off, and you have a Volvo, do you think that you cannot come into North Miami, come to the Volvo dealership, and allow us to replace that wiper blade? We're going to say, no, you didn't buy it from us. Even though you're a Volvo buyer, we're going to send you on your way down to Deal Volvo and Coral Gables. The intent of the ordinance is that we're going to service Volvos. We're not a Mercedes-Benz repair shop. We're not a Ford repair shop. We are a Volvo. And under those restrictions, a manufacturer, you expect as a consumer to take your car to any dealership anywhere in the country of that brand to be able to get it fixed. And that was always the intent of this, that we would service only Volvos. The 90% that they're going to service is vehicles that were serviced, that were sold from this particular dealership or from the Warren Henry. If you bought a car in Coral Gables, the chances that you're going to come up to North Miami is slim. Let's have common sense and address this head on. But we're not going to say tonight, we're never going to touch somebody else's Volvo from another Volvo, because the manufacturer says, any Volvo, you can take your car when you have a problem and get it fixed at any Volvo dealership, especially if it's under warranty, and it makes sense. But we're not in the business.
But you made your point very clear.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's very clear.
And it is a little bit more than windshield wipers, because it does include mufflers, window tinting, shock absorbers, painting.
He already answered the question.
Okay,
Can we
fine.
go to another
Yes, we can go
question,
to the
please?
next question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that used cars are supposed to be a subordinate use in this category. Now, your Fiat calls for 30% of used vehicles. Staff's report doesn't mention used vehicles, but the ordinance that we're signing allows for 49% used cars. I think that is excessive. I would really like to see that brought back down to 30%. Because we're opening our, I don't know why you need a 49% used car. You've got this new chic Volvo.
What
Why
would
we
be
got
your
used cars?
agreeable amount?
I would go back to 30% like the Fiat.
What happens? Do you know that you turn in a 2-year lease? The minute you drive your new car off the lot, it's now a used car. I happen to be driving a used Volvo
Mr.
that most
Burns,
people think
this-
it's news.
This
I'm
ordinance.
answering the
okay,
question,
okay.
madam. I'm answering the question. A used Volvo could be 1 year old. It could be coming off the lease. It could be that type of thing. So whether it's 49 or 30% really isn't the main issue here. This is to sell new Volvos with off-lease, newly off-lease vehicles. They are going to have other vehicles that when somebody trades in their other vehicle are going to be sold up in their 441 used car lot.
Okay.
The whole intention is not to spend tens of millions of dollars in this facility to sell used cars. It doesn't work that way. It is a predominantly new car showroom taking in some very nice pre-owned vehicles that would be on within the confines. If it's one day 40%, another day it's 39%, it goes back and forth. But the predominant use of this particular facility is for a new car showroom.
Mr. Burns, the problem here is we are changing the zoning, or we're doing a text amendment for an entire street, not just for Volvo. And Volvo may not be there. They may change their mind after all this. But we've gone ahead and we have changed our zoning and our uses to allow 50%, 49% used cars. And the next person who moves in, and the next person goes into the Publix parking lot or goes down next to Fiat, may not be the high-class Volvo that we all want in our city, but we're gonna get someone in there and they're gonna have 49%.
But did you
used
see the
cars.
restrictions, why that won't happen?
1
It's because
acre.
it
I
has
know,
to
1
have
acre.
a minimum of 1 acre.
That works
It
for
has to be within
that works
an
for
enclosed
Publix.
building.
Publix is about to build a brand-new facility
Yes,
there.
with
That's
a
just,
huge empty parking lot,
but
right for a
it's
nice
not
big building.
empty, though. It's
It
where
will
their
be.
customers are going to
They
park.
don't need all that.
They
space.
don't need all of that parking space based on what study have you done? I mean, you can't just
'Cause I
continue to
live
throw.
in that shopping center.
And I do too. I'll reemphasize it's in my district. You're going to want things in your district too. We can't continue as a city to throw theoretical wild possibilities at every developer that comes to this city. We are absolutely stagnant as a city for the last 50 years. If we don't do something, we rot and we die. I'm right there
Okay,
with
so-
you. I'm right there with you if your theoreticals have some basis in reality, but to say that the Publix parking lot is going to somehow be converted into an auto showroom,
We'll see,
that's
we'll
why they're
see.
building a Publix, because they want people to come shop at Publix. So
Yeah, we'll
let's get
see.
real.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll bet you $1 million. I don't have. That the
Let's
Publix
keep
parking
going. I
lot, the
have one more-
Publix
okay,
parking
I
lot
have-
in 20 years will be a Publix parking lot.
I
It'll
have
be the
one-
same in 50 years.
I have one last thing, because you have made a promise that you will not be doing test drives in Keystone Point. Your entrance where the cars are is right at Keystone Point. My office looks at this Volvo, at this property. I can see the light on 123rd Street. Most times of the day, the traffic stops from 123rd Street on Biscayne all the way past to 130th Street. Test driving on Biscayne is not normally going to be feasible. How do you plan, or how does the city, Tanya, code enforcement, how do you plan on monitoring that the test drives will not be coming into Keystone where our kids are on skateboards and scooters and golf carts? And once we do find, once you do break your promise, or someone else breaks their promise, what are the penalties for this?
I'm glad you asked that
I'm
question. Because you mentioned that you live 3 blocks away from this location. I live closer than you do to this location, and I don't want people test driving any vehicles in my neighborhood either. But first of all, the automotive showroom that they're proposing is prohibited by their insurance company from crossing over 6-lane highways. Their requirements are right turns, right turns, right turns. However
can't
they
make
make
a
it,
right
wherever
tu-
they go.
They can't
Can I
make
answer
a
that
right turn.
question?
Okay.
Going across a 6-lane highway, then pulling up to a guard gate, to go driving on a neighborhood street that's 25 miles an hour now, or going to be 25 miles an hour, is not conducive for test driving, okay? And speed humps, and calming circles. So we all drive on Biscayne Boulevard every day. We get to where we need to go every day quite fine. We don't expect somebody, because they're test driving a car, means that they're going 60 miles an hour up the road. They're test driving the car in real life situations. And guess what? You want to know how comfortable a car is? Be in stop and go traffic. You want to know how it accelerates? Be in stop and go traffic. You want to see what it's like to sit there in a nice, comfortable vehicle? Of course they're going to be on Biscayne
You're
Boulevard.
not answering the question.
Where would else?
How are we gonna monitor,
Okay. We have
how are we
already
gonna
offered.
prohibit that,
Okay,
and what are the penalties?
We offered with the Planning Commission, and it is on record, as a condition or as a restrictive covenant that runs with the property, that no employee of Volvo will test drive vehicles, because guess what? We have dealer license plates. And it is very easy to occasionally, if you believe people are test driving in Keystone, very easily to have the police department check the logs, and there's only a handful of dealership tags that go on the vehicles that are assigned to this dealership. And you can come and you can say, listen, this car was recorded coming through Keystone Point once, twice, 5 times. It's not going to happen. It's going to be in their employee manual. It's going to be a condition for getting fired. It's not going to happen. But if it does happen, set a fine, just like you do with anybody else in the city.
Can we set a fine with this ordinance, Madam Attorney?
It's currently now
can't-
up to $1,000 for the first violation, $5,000 up to for the second violation.
But we don't have a prohibition in our code against it.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be in this particular section, but it would be in another section under violations. So we would have to have that violation.
And if cars
and
were
the-
realistically, like I said, I'm going to be right there with you if your argument is based in real reality. But if that were the case, Fiat would be driving up and down in Keystone because it's just a couple blocks to the north, and Lexus would be driving up and down in Keystone because it's just a couple. They're gonna
Lexus isn't
they're gonna
anywhere
turn
near.
out, but Lexus isn't anywhere near.
No,
It's 10 blocks up Biscayne Boulevard. How is that not anywhere near?
nobody takes a test drive 10 blocks. They go around the block.
Right turn, right turn, right
right
turn. You just answered his.
Thank you very much.
emphasized his point.
They're not going up, they're not making a right on Biscayne.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Any
I'm
other
done,
argument?
I'm done.
Councilman?
Yes, and Mr. Burns, for Councilwoman Keys, we got to tell her that the test driving map is a part of the application from Volvo. That's been Volvo. When they're gonna approve the site, you need a map plan about the test driving, where people are gonna be test driving the car. My concern is 2 things. First of all, it's landscaping. I would like to see more greens, especially the parking garage. And secondly, the improvement of that street. Because I understand if you're gonna put this beautiful building, someone need to do a lot of improvement as far as plants, especially the swells. Mr. City Manager, I don't know if you sat down with the developer to make sure who's gonna pay for the improvement of that street. That's my concern.
Actually, not as yet, because as the applicant said, this is just a text amendment.
Okay.
We have not reached the DRC stage
Okay.
or any stage at construction phase as yet.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
So
what
And
I
that
would
will
like
be
to
for
see.
staff review.
That's what I would like to see, the
Correct.
improvement of the
And,
street on
and
We
on
agree
them.
with that.
and more green, especially on the parking garage.
Absolutely, and we have a surprise coming down the line, but we're not going to talk about
But,
now, about the landscaping and how it's going to be very creative for North Miami and for the Volvo dealership, our showroom.
The only question, my last question in the text amendment, and I understand you said retail showroom automobile, and can we put new car showroom? Because let's say in the meantime you decide you're not gonna buy it, by passing that, anybody else can come up and open a used car dealership. Can we put in your text amendment the approval that you're gonna get, say new car
The-
showroom?
From my understanding of the ordinance and on the codes, is that the used cars is only as an accessory to the new car sales. It's not the primary use. Nobody can come along and just sell used cars.
Only.
Only. It has to be part of a manufactured new car entity.
Is Tanya here and
Yeah, it's still, I think the application.
is that true?
Correct. In terms of the way the language is written, the used
Okay.
car have to be subordinate to the primary use.
Why did
Okay,
you
okay.
do 49%?
Yeah.
It's already there.
Why did you put 49% in there?
If
That
they're
was the
gonna
request
okay,
of the
okay.
applicant based on the needs of Volvo.
I have no further
Okay.
question. Thank you.
A few questions that I have. What about the trade-ins? How are you going to treat your trade-in? Somebody comes in with a Ford or Chevrolet and
In the same way we do it today. From our trade-ins, we are keeping something that looks like the famous 49% of the cars. The other 51%, they go out to auctions, they go out to wholesales. In this case, we are going to have our wholesale area in 441. So we're looking forward to take out our cars from the operation. But it's a request of the manufacturer that we need to have a used car operation in place in North Miami. Once again, it's going to be an enclosed. You're not going to see it from outside. The parking lot is going to contain the whatever used cars that we are going to have there. Okay?
Now, well, as far as, well, I see, how many jobs do you think this might be creating?
Jobs,
Yeah.
minimum, we speak about 40 new positions, because we are bringing the town managers. So this operation is going to hold 50 people working at the very beginning. We think that we can increase that number, but this is a safe number to communicate to you.
40?
Yeah.
You mean managerial and servicing?
So we have technical, we have clerk, we have sales, let me say, managerial. We have all the positions.
And there was
Service tax.
mention about local preference.
Yep.
How are we going to go about establishing that? I mean, to see to it that it is actually, practiced.
In
way
the
that
same
you
way we
promised.
did it with Johnson and Walsh. With Johnson and Walsh, we went to them and we said, we need people helping us on the Fiat store. So we put in the, let me say, employee website that Fiat was looking for people to help, young people, et cetera. We could do the same thing with you, but we are more than open to work with your public relation department, or whatever way you think is better to work on this in order to address this matter.
Okay. I know it's not time yet. This is just
Absolutely not.
a text
But we're going to
amendment.
be more than happy to do this. This
But,
is something that we are looking forward to do with you.
Okay. So which means when the time comes for us to talk about resurfacing this street or redoing
street
it, beautifying it,
Yeah.
Volvo would not be against something like that to do it. And because I believe Johnson and Wells actually did some kind of
There's a traffic calming circle halfway down
Yes.
the block. But the swale area needs to be improved, and there's some street improvements that has to be done.
no, I'm asking them if Volvo would be
Oh.
willing to actually.
No, with the volume of cars that they're going to be at the site, it's going to be part of the requirement as part of the DRC process.
Okay.
We fully intend to work with the staff. We believe there's a lot of areas that need to be improved there. Of course, on the north side of the property, also there's a traffic problem where currently UPS and FedEx trucks unload. The turn lane to go south on Biscayne Boulevard, it's obsolete. And so we look forward to finally clearing up that bottleneck in partnership with the city. We're going to do our share. There's some things that the city needs to that has plans to do in the area. Well, this is a great time to get it done. As we move forward, and maybe the city attorney may just want to make sure that it is clear, or if there needs to be an amendment that sold by the Volvo manufactured vehicles, not just by this particular location.
Sure,
So if
yeah.
the Madam City Attorney thinks it's necessary to have that word one struck or added in there, let's make ourselves all very comfortable with that.
Okay. Well, finally, if we were to ask you to decrease the percentage of used car to like 20, 25%,
30%.
30%.
35%?
No, I mean, what I'm saying is, no, I'm not going to go there,
Yeah.
because even if we were to agree on any percentage, there is no way that the city would be able to police that.
Right.
So
We're going to work with staff, and again,
Yeah.
their primary focus is to sell the new automobiles. There's new designs coming out by Volvo, and one of the things as a corporation, Volvo is building a new $500 million manufacturing plant in South Carolina.
That's what
And so they're making a great big investment in the United States, and Florida, again, is one of their key market. Miami is the key market, and you have the highest level of the Volvo management in the country looking at this site at this dealership operation. This showroom, this concept may be used in numerous other cities throughout the country, because you're taking a 40, 50-year-old building and you are repurposing it within the urban core. The days of going out and buying 5, 10 acres of vacant land on a major highway are gone. It just doesn't happen anymore. And so it's too cost prohibitive. And so the new concept, and again, this concept is new to us, but Coral Gables and the most expensive commercial corridor that they have has the collection. This is nothing new. It's new to us here in North Miami, but it's the way it's been in New York, Boston, LA, Rodeo Drive have showrooms just like this in the most expensive neighborhoods, at the entrance of the most expensive communities and commercial districts. And so we're sure that this is a great fit. And to address other needs, maybe there's a possibility. We're looking forward to establishing or helping other businesses in other parts of this city. It's premature to say it now, but Volvo already, the moment they started this process, already has sponsored the Chamber golf tournament, the Senior Citizens Foundation luncheon. They're going to be community and actively involved in this community, and they're not even here yet. And so they'll be a great neighbor. It's going to be a great property. And
All right.
when we look back at this, we're going to say, why did we spend an hour and a half on
Yeah.
kicking a company
So-
to the curb?
So
Thank you.
definitely, yeah, and to you, Carol, the no in no me does not stand for no. It stands for normal me. Normal me. So we are a yes city, and we are on the move. We are open for business, and that's one of the reasons why I came up with this resolution about the public-private partnership opportunities. And as a matter of fact, when you go to other countries where they are not blessed with as much land as we do have, they don't have open lot, dealerships. What they have is this kind of leadership. I mean, dealerships. If you go to London, you go to Paris, you go to other cities or major metropolitan cities, they don't have open lot, car dealerships where you have 300-400 cars, laid out. They do have this kind of concept, and that's what works. And I believe that as a city who's trying to actually revive and jump up, I think this is a great endeavor, and I really commend Volvo, and I really commend you for coming up with this possible opportunity for us to be on the map once again after Solemia. And let's see where it takes us, so people can start looking at North Miami as a city where they can come and conduct business, where they know they're not going to get no all the
And we'll
time.
be out of the ground before Solomia, so that's we're in competition. How's that?
All right. Thank you very much, and we'll
Have a vote?
have we voted?
Well,
Okay.
I need a little clarification. There was 2 issues that came up.
Yeah,
One
ma'am.
with respect to the servicing of vehicles, and then the other with respect to the percentage of the pre-owned vehicles. So we need, if we are going to make a motion,
I'm not going
Please
to be able
ensure.
to police what percentage. Are we going to ask them for? Are we going to make like a monthly policing to take their inventory of what they have?
I would imagine not.
Well, if why put something that we are not going to be able to control?
Well, the resolution that we have here now is similar to what Fiat has. I think that's where the 30% came in, because their application for the Fiat had 30%. What they're requesting now with this tax amendment is a 49%.
Because they're spending, they're spending more money.
Mhm.
They need
Exactly.
the used car department in
Well,
order
that's what I'm
to-
bringing it to your
to
attention,
make the
because the
profit for the
differences
money
between
that
the
they are
30% and the
investing.
49%,
Yeah.
it's the difference between what they have at Fiat. With the tax amendment, they are requesting 49%.
Okay, thank you.
because of the investment. The amendment that we need to add, it's saying that they're gonna be servicing only Volvos.
Yeah, but only Volvo.
Volvos,
okay.
yeah.
Only
Manufacturer,
Volvo,
yes.
not
Only
any.
Volvos.
Okay.
Okay, so I need a motion with the agreement
I make
of
the motion.
Second.
That they're going to be servicing only Volvo.
servicing
Yeah.
only Volvos,
Yeah.
Volvo cars. Since this is an ordinance, I need to do roll call.
How can you do that on a text, excuse me, how can you do that on a text amendment when this is not about Volvo, it's about a zoning of a whole street.
Well, it would be the manufacturer. I understand what they mean. So
Yeah.
they're talking about the manufacturer,
Yeah.
not, so that what it reads
They're gonna
now
service
is this
only manufactured
particular.
brand.
Right.
Okay.
How it reads now is that it would be servicing cars sold from this particular showroom. So what they're looking to do is to make it for that particular manufacturing brand. So they're using the example of Volvo, but we know that it's not
Manufactured brand.
Yeah,
applicable.
from the
So
manufacturer, yeah.
Okay. You can proceed with roll call. Vice Mayor Keys,
No.
Councilman Bieneme,
Yes.
Councilman Delzame,
Yes.
Councilman Galvin,
Yes.
Mayor Joseph.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, 4-1. Excuse me, 4-1. I'm ready.
Here we go. I guess we'll go to Citizens Forum. Citizens Forum is now open.
Okay, is this about anything then we can talk about?
Anything, yeah.
Okay, I've got two quick things to say. The first thing is that I wonder if we could ask new businesses such as Volvo, perhaps to partner with our MoCA museum director and perhaps collaborate on an artwork or a sculpture in front of new businesses, particularly on our main corridors, to make it seem as if we've got this whole cultural advantage as well as this beautiful boutique. I mean, it would be stunning.
You've
wouldn't
been
it,
listening
to
to my conversation with Babaka.
Oh, I thought you were listening to my proposition with Babacar. But in any case, he's brilliant, and that leads me to the second thing. If anybody has not seen the phenomenal outdoor exhibit that Babacar has done in Mocha Square, it's probably the most amazing outdoor sculpture park that's been brought, certainly not only to North Miami or to Dade County. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. He's done this, and if we can do more of this with every new business that comes into the city, if we can have them perhaps participate in one new sculpture in front of the business, our community would be known not only for the educational institutions, but for our cultural vision. It's an amazing thought. It's what they're doing in Sunny Isles Beach, and I think that we can do that, and I'll bet you that Volvo would be happy to participate as well as any new businesses. So that's it. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Richard Anise, 13030 Northeast 10th Avenue. Finally, one of the things that was on Scott's list was 131st Street. They finally did a very nice paving job. The sod that they brought was like dirt with hay, but maybe the rain for the summer might bring some of it back. But they actually did a better job. They put double striping at the stop signs and reflectors that wasn't even there before. So 131st Street from Dixie to 12th is fine, and then they did the other street there, which is fine. I don't anticipate when Tico did the new main, they patched different
Right.
spots, and they only restriped 10th Avenue where they put new pavement. 10th Avenue needs new striping from 125th to 135th Street, but it's a county road, so you guys got to go ask them or whatever. 12th Avenue's been done twice in the last 5 years, so
Correct.
you need to do something about 10th Avenue.
I could send a request to the county. That's
Okay,
true,
well,
Public
when
Works
you're doing
Department.
that request, the main crux of my speaking tonight is, last Wednesday mid-afternoon, there was an accident on 130th and Northeast 10th. Obviously, somebody ran a stop sign. The vehicle that was coming north on 10th Avenue went through the fence on the property that's on the northeast corner, just missed an oak tree with about a 6-foot diameter. So if it hit the oak tree, the guy was going to die. Went through the other fence on the other side of the property and hit the second house on that side of the street. And there's like a brick facade or something, knocked that over.
Right.
I don't know if it destroyed, if it went through the house, but it hit the house. I don't know what parameters you use to get traffic circles on 8th Avenue in Mr. Bienamine's district over there, where it's a dead end 2 blocks up and 2 blocks south. Whatever traffic study you used for that, I'm sure that if you do a traffic study for 131st Street and 10th Avenue, you're gonna see it needs a traffic circle. There's no doubt in my mind. The school board put the sidewalks on my property because of W.J. Bryan. So I've got foot traffic from W.J. Bryan. If they felt that it was necessary to put sidewalks there, that justifies the foot traffic for Bryan. I got the high school 2 blocks away, and the L Middle is 3 blocks away. And by the amount of garbage that the kids throw on my lawn, I can show you plenty of foot traffic there. So, and I don't want a 4-way stop, because the 4-way stop mentality is if a guy sees somebody coming and he thinks he's gonna stop, he goes right through the stop sign. So a 4-way stop is useless. They don't stop at the stop sign now. The fact that when they're coming east on 135th Street and my side yard is empty, it's like another piece of property, and they think they get they get a false sense of security, thinking they can read the traffic coming on 10th Avenue, and then when they get a little closer, they look the other way, and then they go right through the stop sign. So I'm making a formal request for a study for a and 131st is the first street that crosses 10th Avenue that goes all the way to 16th Avenue from 125th Street. So that's the first street, that's the busiest traveled one, and you got motorcycles that are coming up and down 10th. I don't know, I mean, it ends at 135th Street, but you would think that would be a deterrent for people speeding up and down that street, but it doesn't, it hasn't stopped. And nobody, years ago, the guy, they used to sit in front of my house with the motorcycles and write the tickets with radar. You guys haven't done that in a long time. But if you go back for the last 30 years, there have been so many accidents on my corner on 131st and 10th, 130th, all up and down 10th Avenue. But the most important one at this, if you're going to do more than one, fine. But the first one you need to do is 131st and Northeast 10th. Definitely needs a traffic circle.
All right, we have to wrap it up. We have to keep going.
Thank you.
Good evening, Carol Prager. I'm here speaking on behalf of Arch Creek East Neighborhood Association. Within our neighborhood, we have 7 streets that run from Northeast 19th Avenue to Northeast 24th Court. That is the northern, yes it is. It is the northern border. North Miami shares with North Miami Beach. On the north side of our city boundary is the Highland Village Trailer Park. I believe last year North Miami Beach removed, it was at the request of North Miami Beach to remove their FP&L light poles within the trailer park. I'd like someone to look into that, because now there is no lighting at the end of most of those finger streets, and those streets are very dark at night. That border is a problem for our neighborhood in terms of crime, and I do mean crime. 2 weeks ago, when a warrant was being served to arrest someone, the criminal jumped over the fence on Northeast 19th Avenue after having shot at police officers serving the arrest warrant and commandeered a car. They captured this man in Tennessee, where upon capturing him there, he shot a police officer in the chest. And because he was wearing his protective vest, he survived that incident. We have had multiple shootings in the trailer park. I have discussed this with our chief. I am now here to speak truth to the power. We have no control over that trailer park, but what happens in that trailer park impacts my neighborhood. So I would like for the city to look into the lighting situation at the end of those streets. The city owns those streets, I believe, Mr. Ghani. That is city property.
That's correct.
These are city residents, and every opportunity should be afforded them to have as much lighting as possible at the end of those streets as the rest of the people in our neighborhood enjoy on 135th Street. And I'll be waiting for follow-up on that, sir, in 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Ghani, while we're on that, I have $100,000 allocated toward my district for theoretically something like this. So if you will, please explore. Obviously, we don't want to erect light poles and then 3 months from now we have to turn the power off because we don't have a source of paying for those lights.
Sure.
But theoretically, if that $100,000 might be used in part toward installing those Finger Road lights,
Sure.
that would be a quality improvement I'd be interested
And
in.
those are the townhouses that are on the north side of 135th Street.
Correct, like 21st Court, 21st
21st
Place,
Court,
22nd
21st
Court,
correct.
22nd Place.
The only, from my research previously, actually, when I was in Public Works, the city actually owns only the piece down the middle. The property owner of the townhouse owns only the parking in front of the townhouse itself. So I believe we own only a 20-foot right-of-way running straight down the middle of the parking.
Right. Well, in the center of that, and it gets tricky because on the immediate side of the fence, the immediate north side of the fence is North Miami Beach, the trailer park, and those
Right.
are all individually owned plots, so we wouldn't be able to put a
So-
pole on their land. And then if you put a pole on the south side of the fence only, then you're interfering with the very, very limited parking for those
Parking,
at the
right.
northern end. But if we take a look and we can figure out creatively, either with a skinny pole, I am making this stuff up at this point, you follow what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
open to it, and you're like, well, we can do it, we just don't have the money. Well, now I finally hear something that's really solid thing that I might be able to use some of my money for.
All right. If there's an easement, I will look into it with FPNL. One of the
Yeah. I know there's no easements, just from, but this is something that came up with Lee Feldman
Okay,
when he was,
okay.
that whole area was built without any utility
No
easements. What was
utility
going through the
easements.
council's mind in 1972, 73, I don't know, but they didn't allow
Okay.
any type of easements. But if you find something,
I'll talk to FPNL and see what we can do.
Next.
Ron Rubin, 13155 Northeast 6th Avenue. This year I passed my building recertification. I had a 40-year recertification, and now I passed the 10th year after that. And that's an engineer's report. Detail goes to the city. City reviews the report, approves it, and I get my certification. That means that electrically and structurally, my building's been found to be structurally safe and electrically safe. Now, I'm a landlord, which means I rent apartments. I rent an apartment, and if I rented an apartment to you, Mr. Joseph, I give you the key, you go inside, I'm on the outside, I deliver an apartment that's freshly painted, all the appliances work, the windows work, there's screens, everything's working, there's no leaks, okay? And that's it. I'm done with the apartment, tenant moves in, it's under their control, not my control, okay? I exterminate once a month because that's what I'm required to do. If a tenant has a problem, I ask that they put it in writing, and then that gives me permission to enter the apartment. What I'm getting at, my issue is starting about 3 or 4 years ago, the inspection department on an annual inspection would come on my property, as they're allowed to do, and approach my tenants asking entry into their apartments. That is my problem, okay? The code doesn't permit an inspector to solicit entry to go inside an apartment to look for issues. I'm a landlord, I'm on the outside. What goes on inside, unless it's criminal or unless there's a fire or something, bring my attention, I'm responsible to leave the tenant alone unless they ask for my help. The city has no business getting in the middle of it. If a tenant breaks a cabinet in my bathroom, that's between myself and the tenant. Unless the tenant calls the city to ask for help because I'm doing something wrong. And I just want to bring that to the city's attention, that this is going on, started about 3, 4 years ago, and it just happened again recently. And I'm pretty sick of it. And I shouldn't be put through that. Anybody?
sure, Mr. Mayor, through you to the city manager.
Sure.
Mr. Rubin brings up a great point. We did set up a housing hotline not too long ago for residents who do want to anonymously call in concerns about their landlord. At the time, I had suggested we make little palm cards, sort of like they do for campaigns or parties, and pass those out door to door, whether that be in the building itself or in Publix or someplace like that where the local residents shop. Thank you for reminding me that we have that in place and that we should up our efforts to spread the word to tenants that if they do have a landlord issue and a building issue, that they can report it anonymously, which would then give us entree into said apartment unit.
Specifically, what brought this to attention right now was I had a tenant's son went off his meds, had a violent outburst, broke the living room windows. Tenant took responsibility, said, please don't press charges, I'll take care of it, I'll pay for it. Tenant got the bill, didn't bring the money to fix it. 2 weeks went by. Unfortunately, this tenant's been with me for over 5 years, and I have compassion for her. Okay, I have children, things come up. The same son broke out the bedroom windows. Few weeks went by, she still hadn't come forward with the money, okay? Then Wednesday evening, she sends one of her children to the manager, says, I have the money, when can you fix the windows? He said, give me the money, I'll get it scheduled to get done as soon as we can get it done. 2 days later, a window company came out with windows, the entire frame, not just glass, the entire frame, okay? Manager said, should I go out there and kick them off the property? You know, I said, no, put your baseball bat away, call the police. Police come out. The following week, code enforcement shows up. I get the violation for the broken windows, fine. But at the same point, one of the tenant's children, I don't know why, but inspector went inside the unit. Why it had anything to do with the windows, which is what I called about, because it was construction without a permit, something that's supposed to get a huge fine.
Correct.
Okay? Whatever reason, the inspector went in the apartment. The tenant, when she found out, was not happy about it. She didn't want the inspectors involved inside. They found an issue inside, and it specifically was a busted bathroom vanity. Same kid is probably the one that broke it. It's between myself and my tenant, but now the inspection department thinks I should replace the vanity. Now, I pointed out, and I had a meeting with the city manager, the ordinance doesn't even address a vanity. And yet the inspector, not knowing what the ordinance said, violated me in her language and put me up for a notice before the magistrate. So besides the illegal inspections, okay, my other issue is that some of these inspectors are so
Mr.
untrained,
Manager,
they do not know what the
Mr. Manager,
ordinance
you're
says.
gonna have to address this.
I did
Give an
meet with
appointment to the gentleman for him to come to your office.
Okay,
So you can take care of it, please.
I will.
The inspector needs to read the ordinance and make sure what they're writing in the description is what the ordinance gives them the right to say.
All right.
Okay,
Next.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
My name is Hector Medina, and I live at 1270 Northeast, 124th Street. I was here 3 months ago and addressing the spot master issue on the 125th. 125th, from here to Biscayne Boulevard, is a mess. I have to build an access road for access to my ranch. I am very familiar with the regulations of roads. I had to donate that road. So you cannot lower manholes to save money on paving. You can. 1. 2. I know you read my letter, and I'm here representing the Palomar Neighborhood Association. This is an industrial dry cleaner operating. There's no red tape. They're operating on tents. You cannot have an industrial dry cleaner operating on tents without a roof or without walls. What's going to happen if a hurricane hit us? All those things are going to fly, and a lot of contaminants that they storage there are going to go into the floor. There's a lot of garbage there. A lot of garbage. It's not even covered. You can pass through the street. They're tapping. If a fire marshal see what they're doing in front of the fire hose that are in front of them, I don't understand why you don't even call a fire marshal. I was a fire marshal in the city of New York. They will get a huge fine to be. They are blocking the access of the fire department to a fire hydrant. What kind of city you're running here? You cannot allow an industrial dry cleaner in a residential area. There was 58 of us who wrote to you. Anybody who's not with us is against us. It's very simple. There will be no more. The city has decided to get 30 days to the disabled parking. The city doesn't have the authority to violate the American with Disabilities Act. And I'm a former executive member of the Hemophilia Foundation. I know everything about hemophilia, about the Disabilities Act, because my son was hemophiliac and my brother-in-law. So the city does not have the authority to authorize a business to change their disabled parking. You just don't have that authority.
Mr. Manager, where are we? We have a task force. We have a multidisciplinary group, a team in charge of the spot master issue, right?
Yeah, can we get a status? Yeah.
Go ahead, Regine. They appeared before the special
They appeared before, special spot master appeared before the special magistrate last month, and they were found guilty of the nuisance for noise, and were given time to remediate. They have began to make changes to their nighttime drop off and pickup to reduce the noise thereof. There was a hearing a couple of weeks ago where unfortunately we were not successful before the special magistrate because there was only one violation that was brought before the special magistrate for noise, and it wasn't sufficient because the code enforcement officer really didn't have the evidence to support the claim with respect to the noise violation. They are coming back again for several other violations in the next couple of weeks. I believe that one alternative would be to revoke their certificate of use, and that is something that the city manager has the authority to do based on the mounting complaints as well.
Is that Mr. Mayor, may I ask
Go
a
ahead.
question? This is my district. We've been working on this, attending hearings. Have they been cited for the operation of the equipment under the tent? Is that a violation?
No, they have been cited for noise and operations after hours, after 11.
But what about the actual use of that machinery and not in a closed area? It's just a covered tent.
No, to my
Is that a
understanding,
is that a violation?
I'm not sure. I cannot give you an answer on that.
I'd like to look into that. I'd like, I was reading some definitions, and they clearly have become a dry cleaning plant. They're no longer a dry cleaning facility. They have morphed into that. I don't know if this is something that we want. I think it's a big step to just ask the manager to revoke the license, and I think this is, I don't know if it's appropriate, but I think it's something that should come before the council and give direction to the manager.
That's right.
It's a big business. It employs a lot of people, but they've also gone outside the box with their establishment. And would that be proper to bring this back to the council to give direction?
It's up to the council. The city manager has the authority under the code, but you can certainly provide direction for that.
Okay.
Okay.
That is-
Let's put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank.
Now, there is a meeting in my house. The press is coming. This one is not. The press is not going to be this time only the Spanish press. It's not only going to be a Nuevo
Sir,
Herald.
the vice mayor already gave directives
You will be on
to the city
agenda
manager to
for the
act.
next meeting.
So the subject is a moot subject now. If you have another topic, I will be more than happy to entertain it. Next.
No, hold on. What we're going to do about the road? From here, I was here 3 months ago. They have lowered the manholes.
Which road?
FDOT, 125th Street.
That's Florida Department of
Yeah.
Transportation working on it.
Yeah, their
They're
project isn't done
resurfacing
yet.
the whole street.
Because there is a ditch on 13th Street, and you can cross from 13th Street into 123rd or 125th. I mean, this is not the cities have nothing to do with the road and the mess they have there.
Mr. Medina.
Right now as we
one-
speak, I'm sorry. As we speak, Mr. Medina, I'm going to email you the FDOT press release with all the details and timeline for that project from 125th Street. It also includes the phone number, name, and email address of the person who is responsible for that project. In the morning, unleash your holy hell on FDOT because
Yes.
it's their project, not ours, and the email will be in your
Been
box.
3 months.
I agree. I've had the same complaints myself, but it's not a city project. It's the FDOT project, and you won't be sitting in your chair 2 seconds, and that email will be in your inbox from FDOT.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maria Lee. I live at 12525 Northeast First Court, North Miami. I came up before, but I wanted to cut somebody short because I wanted a chance. Now I'm talking about my light and the street. I have a problem. It's dark. There's right at the corner a new tenant bought that property for $340,000. 2 doors down, another person came and buy a house for $275,000. Doc, we need light. So somebody, could you please help me?
Mr. Manager,
I'm on
we've
it.
been talking about this light issue for months now. We sat down with FPL,
We did.
and we saw that lady last
Yeah,
weekend.
He
So
promised
we
me.
need to move on that.
He promised me, but I'm running out.
We need to move on that, please.
I actually spoke to Alita, player from FPNL on Saturday night. Our representative who was representing North Miami, he's no longer with FPNL. All our complaints are going directly to her. I've updated our list. I've instructed Public Works to give me an updated list with priorities, and that will be sent to her on a prioritized or a priority basis. She said if there's any emergencies that she wants me to handle, I want her to handle, to just call her and she will make sure it gets done.
Okay.
One more. 6th Avenue, 13800 Northeast 6th Avenue. The building, it's terrible. Right beside mine. The thief them jump over in the night. No light in their back part. And the building is deplorable. Can't even catch your breath. Next to my property.
The
6th
white one?
Avenue, it's need something to be done on 6th Avenue. I'm sorry about the time. It needs something to be done at 6th Avenue.
That's a code issue, and I'll get code and the code inspectors to go
it's,
there.
it's terrible. And they come and they smoke their pot, they take the thing, we drive them crazy, running up and down the street, jumping over my fence. No, I'm having enough of that. Okay?
Okay,
So,
thanks.
God bless you all. Have a wonderful night. And may the Lord continue to bless you. And you have a wonderful wife. Take care.
Good evening, and it's very late, and my name is Judy Brown. I live at 1100 Northwest 120 Terrace. I'm extremely upset over the walking path that is being installed at Pepper Park. Why am I so upset? Well, I have some pictures, but I can't show them because it's just too late and it's just whatever. First of all, the path is too narrow. It's about 5 feet. That's like a walkway to my house. So for 2 people to pass there without bumping into each other would be almost extremely impossible. Next is located to the location of the path is wedged between the batting cage, the baseball field, around the basketball court, and it stops at the back of the tennis court. There's no netting for the baseball field to prevent the balls from flying over and striking anyone who attempts to walk there. And the path is made of concrete, not the surface that is conducive to walking. And that was not in the initial plans. Oh, yes. I want to make my feeling clear about this. Once I contacted Mr. Galvin, Councilman Galvin, my councilman was not aboard yet. I was told that the surface was too expensive. I feel that this information should have been brought back to council, and that it should have been, and I should have been informed, rather than to waste $63,000 that I begged for so long for that walking path. And to me, it's just something that's thrown in to shut me up. But I'm not gonna be quiet, because now we have a seat at the table, and we have a leader. I'm gonna speak, because everybody else is just going over tonight, and that's why we're here late. I'm just gonna take my time, and I have a couple more points, and I'll be through. Okay, our tennis courts at Pepper's on par with any tennis courts in this county, and so should our walking path be. The citizens of Sunkist Grove deserve the same quality of materials and design as any other district in this city. This leads me to the conclusion that the experts knew from the very outset that this $63,000 was not enough money allocated to install the proper walking path at Pepper. So why not start with phase 1 and maybe move to phase 2 as the funds became available to install a walking path that would be of quality and would represent the City of North Miami brand. I've heard so much, and I'm on board with the brand, and we're moving forward, and how we want our North Miami to have a brand. Well, I too want that same type of brand at our walking park. And I would just ask any of you all to go over and take a look at that walking path. And I'm quite sure when you come back to the next council meeting that you will be in agreement with what I'm saying tonight. The city once again has dropped the ball, and I feel that this will be a waste of $63,000. I mean, this path is down, it's nothing but concrete. It was poorly designed, and it opens the door for liability, because if you have elderly or whoever's trying to walk on this 5 feet path, you have balls with flour, it could hit them or what have you. We are a city on the move, and I really feel very, very hurt about this particular walking path. It just does not represent the City of North Miami brand and our mayor that's with the city on the move. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. Just about 11:40. Reminds me of some years back, late-night entertainer Johnny Carson, about this time would have a routine called the Great Karnak, and probably none of you know it. But he would come up with, he would have an envelope, and he would have the answer. He would divine the answer of what is in the envelope. I'm going to try that tonight.
Over 2 minutes.
The answer is 7 years bad luck. And somebody repeats 7 years bad luck. And he goes to the envelope.
I'm doing my best,
Ed
McMahon, yeah.
And the question, that was the answer. The question is, what will happen to the city of North Miami if the comprehensive plan does not have meaningful change? We will be stagnant. And as of right now, I have the early copy, the final draft at this time, and there's no meaningful change. Same heights, same density, same everything pretty much. There's nothing meaningful. Some boilerplate things were added in that would be going around to any city anywhere, sustainability, some green design things. But there's nothing here that solves the problems that would be able to embrace the vision that you have professed to embrace. Tomorrow is the Planning Commission meeting. It's been rescheduled from last Tuesday. It's going to take place tomorrow. We have asked for 12 months to get updates on this comprehensive plan, and it wasn't until this past week that I have it in my hand. To tell you the truth, it really wasn't worth waiting for. But we'll be meeting on this tomorrow. I hope that everybody will join us, and I do hope that you'll be able to reinstate Kevin Seifried with his 25 years of experience on the Planning Commission to be there with us and the other good people that have been assigned to this committee so that we can have as thoughtful a conclusion and input
there a
on
vacancy?
developing this. So
That's
that's
what I thought.
tomorrow.
Is there a vacancy in that board?
Stephanie?
Well, you let me know tomorrow.
I believe there is one. But if so, the meeting is tomorrow. It would be greatly appreciated if it could be voted on, proposed and voted on tonight, in order so he could sit on the board. So he could sit on the board tomorrow.
If there is a vacancy, you can put me as a sponsor for him to be on the board.
Stephanie, did you really turn off your computer like we were going home somewhere?
She was ready.
But, oh, you are a rookie. We haven't even got to council reports yet.
You put me out like that?
No, I don't have it. I would have to go into the M-Drive to find it. So
As a
I-
new
But
member,
there's
do I
a-
have,
I'm
Mr.
pulling it up
Mayor,
right now.
There is a code, Madam City Attorney. Anybody who come on board can
Appoint
only
someone.
change,
Can I vote?
and whoever was there. That's mean even if the mayor doesn't have any appointment, but
Yeah.
It's my district.
Councilman
Yes.
Dejean may
No,
always
for
can
the
appoint
planning,
someone
it's for the
to
planning commission.
replace
Yeah, I know.
whoever was there.
Yes, he should have some appointments.
Was he?
Yeah,
Okay.
Kevin Seifried, I believe, lives in District 4. He
Yes,
lives
indeed.
west
Yes.
of
Yes,
of,
down the street from
95.
me.
How
Has
many
been-
members do we have now? We have 7 or 6?
It's hard
It's
to
a
say.
vac-
We've
it's
had
mine,
one member
right?
that has not been showing up.
It's his? Judy, that's what I thought.
Okay.
No, I would,
Well,
I would
appoint him
definitely. I was gonna do that during my report. Can I do it now?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I would like to appoint Kevin Seidfree on the planning commission. Any second?
Second?
Second.
Okay, good.
Third.
Wonderful. That's a great start to
Pass.
getting this on the right track. Thank you all
Okay.
very much.
You're welcome.
All in favor
That's
of that
right.
vote?
Aye.
Anyone opposes? Passes 5-0. Kevin Seifried on the Planning Commission.
By the way, anybody speaking from this point forward, I'm calling you at 6 a.m. when my alarm goes off to make sure you're up too.
I'll be up at that time as well.
Okay.
Good evening, Howard Tonkin, 12600 Griffin Boulevard. I have a tree for you all tonight, but it comes with the burden of some information. This is a pond apple. Scientists and engineers say that the most vulnerable city in the world to climate change, to rising sea levels, is Miami. Within Miami-Dade County, we have hundreds of millions of dollars being spent right now at a feverish pace in projects to deal with rising sea levels and climate change. Within this most vulnerable city in the world, all the engineers and all the scientists say the glaringly most obvious thing that nobody has done anything about is the 4 canal entrances of North Miami-Dade County. That's us. That's this city. And so it is with the burden of this information that I give you this pond apple, because pond apples are wonderful for shoring up our riverbanks and our canal banks, and the root systems are incredible at fortifying these waterways in a really cheap way. And when we use plants and bioengineering techniques, we have a really exciting opportunity to do something really beautiful with ecotourism, making our city more beautiful and making our city sustainable for the future simply by using the right type of planting. But if we keep sitting around doing studies and talking about it and our master plan, our city's going to go underwater, because the whole time we're talking about it, the sea level's rising and rising and rising. And so I'd like to present this tree to Councilman Bieneme, but know that the people that live in your district in the former tidal estuaries are the most vulnerable people in the world to rising sea levels. Enjoy the tree.
All right, public forum is now closed. Council reports. Citizen forums, I mean.
Okay, quickly, we're having a citizenship drive for North Miami residents, Saturday from 10 to 2 on June 20th at the Gwen Margolis Center. The Haitian Lawyers Association is going to be there, and we will be processing applications for citizenship. So anybody you know who is a resident, they're going to have priority for that drive. The following Saturday from 10 to 2, we are having a tremendous e-waste fair. It started out small, where everybody could bring their recyclables like monitors, computers, keyboards, etc. It has grown into, we're gonna have a shredder there, you can bring your batteries, light bulbs, all types of sponsors and events and ecological, displays. So I'm looking forward to it. There'll be more on it. We're just finalizing the stages. That's June 27th. That's going to be at the Griffin Center from 10 to 2, June 27th. On a business note, I know it's late, but I think we probably have a time frame. Was it last week we went down to the County Planning Commission with regard to our application to annex Biscayne Park. Only one resident came from Sans Souci. We spoke, Major Beige, manager, we spoke, and the Planning Commission turned down our application, and they approved the application of Biscayne Park. They had their city manager, their chief of police speaking for them. They had their attorney, and Sally Heyman got up and spoke on behalf of Biscayne Park. So right now, I believe the next step is we're going to the, Regine, you can kind of fill us in. I believe the next step is we're going to be heard at the county commission, who is going to make their decision as to whether to allow the city, allow Biscayne Park to go ahead and annex the parcel of land, which is Biscayne Boulevard, from the two tall towers just south of Whole Foods on down, which is pretty much in our district across from our city. So they're going to be making that decision. That's where we're at with that. And if you have anything further to report on that, Regine, where we're at and what our options are.
All right, Mr. Councilman.
The answer is Alex DeSulme. The question is, congratulations, my good friend. I wish you many years of success. You have earned that seat probably more than just about anybody else who's ever run for office. I wish you many, many years of great congratulations and success.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
That's it. Do you have any report?
Me?
No, yeah, go first.
Yes.
Oh, just congratulations to the newly elected in District 3, in District 4, Mr. Alex DeSulme. Again, congratulations, and I wish you success.
Thank you, sir.
I have no reports for tonight.
Well, on behalf of, well, not on behalf of anyone, I just want to thank you guys, the council. I know it's late, members of the council. You guys really made me feel home. Although this is a long meeting, as my first meeting, but to Judy Brown, who kind of stay here as a cheerleader, my district, we're gonna be fighting. So hey, welcome aboard. And again, thank you. I am looking forward to move this city forward and to fight for my district. Thank you, Councilman Ben-Amir, Councilwoman Keys, Councilman Galvin, and Mayor Joseph, and the entire leadership. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm here to let you know that you won't have to fight too hard. As you know, this is a city on the move. So while we are moving, we are bringing everybody along so that we can complete the whole puzzle. Because if one piece of the puzzle is missing, then we won't be able as effective as we would want to be. So I welcome you among us. So let's continue the progress. Let's continue the good work to put North Miami on the map. So I also took the opportunity to invite you to our second mayoral initiative business forum, which will be taking place at the Lexus building. I believe it's June 26th?
Yes.
June 26th?
Yeah.
Okay, that will be during lunchtime.
That's correct.
From 12 to 2. This is an opportunity to meet with different developers who will be there looking for possibility of public-private partnership.
Correct. We have members of the Peachtree Council who's going to be there.
Exactly. They're the ones who are going to be
sponsoring
it, and solely me, I will be present as well, and other big companies will be there. And having said that, it's been a long day and a long night. My eyes are about to shut, but thank you very much for coming. Thank you for being here and address the concerns that because without you, there are a lot of things that we will not be aware of. So because you are here, because you are committed, and you bring the problems to us, and I really commend you for being active, for making the business of the city of North Miami your business. Thank you very much, and have a good night. Now we go to
Nothing to report
City
tonight.
Clerk.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
City Clerk.
Nothing to report.
Madam Attorney.
Yes, let me kind of shore up what Councilwoman Keys mentioned about the Planning Advisory Commission board meeting with with respect to the incorporation issue for the annexation. As she stated, the Planning Advisory Board denied our application. We were a little disconcerted because they actually failed to follow the criteria that's set before them. And so we feel strongly that should the county commission affirm and also deny that there may be grounds to appeal, because there is a criteria that they have to decide their reason, and the reason that they chose to deny our application was because they felt that Biscayne Park was in a fiscally disadvantaged position, but that's not one of the criteria set forth in the code. So the next step is that it will go before the county commission, and the county commission can of course accept the recommendation by the board, or they can certainly grant any application. But as you're aware, the city still does have to consent, as we will be affected because we are the neighboring city by any annexation. So there still is an opportunity for us to impact the county's decision. And as soon as we have a date for the county commission's hearing, we'll certainly keep you apprised. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Just I'll be short, very brief. I believe I sent it out in an email. Our average property taxes has increased by 8.9%, which translate into a little over $1.4 million for us in the upcoming fiscal year. So that's good news for all our homeowners and residents. And also I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Alex. And we had 2 birthdays, actually. Councilman Bienema's birthday was yesterday, and the mayor's birthday is coming up next week. So we actually have a cake. I know it's pretty late, but staff has.
Wow.
Yes, congratulations, Councilman Desalme as well.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Meeting is adjourned. It's now 11:54.